They always say, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
Okay.
Education, all the times, everywhere, has never been cheap, because it is something that has value. It can never be cheap. I think the question that we need to address ourselves to is, are we living up to our constitutional demand that we afford every Kenyan child quality education?
Yes.
Because that is a constitutional right, that every child must be given quality basic education that is free and compulsory. The government has worked quite hard to try and put more resources in the education sector, and I can confidently say that it is wrong for anyone to even expect that it will be possible to increase budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
It is already the highest funded ministry in the government. The problem that we face as a country in the education sector is not, from where I sit, mainly one of a resource issue. It is mainly allocation of the resources and utilization of the resources that we put in that sector. I can tell you, for example, that right now we have a challenge with congestion in some schools.
Yeah.
Yet we have schools that have facilities that have no learners. Why? Because they have been mismanaged and no parent wants to take their child to the school that has been run down, that does not perform well. We have so many schools that have fewer students than their capacity. And we have a few others that have congestion to the brim. Why? Because parents are trying to look for the elusive good performance in the schools. How can we resolve that? It's an administrative issue. Can we hold those who run those schools to account and make sure that they are doing what they ought to do? Can we hold parents in those communities to account? Because I also know that there are school heads who are doing their best, but they are struggling in the schools where they've been sent because there is lack of cooperation from the local communities around them. So that is one problem. The second problem is we have railroaded children into schools without paying attention to whether those schools add value to their lives or not.
Yes.
And I can use this example. We have said basic education is free and compulsory. So if you take a pastoralist boy and bring them to school and tell them you stay in school until 12 years are complete, this boy enrolls in a primary school that has no sufficient teachers and facilities, gets less than 100 marks in primary, because we have had children who scored less than 100 marks in KCPE.
Yes.
You take them to another poorly run secondary school, they stay there for 4 years and get an E. And then you release them back to society. What have you done to them? You have denied this boy the right to grow up as a pastoralist and learn pastoralism as a livelihood. You have not afforded them an opportunity for a new kind of livelihood.
Okay.
Because after scoring their E in school, they go back to the community and try to become pastoralists long after their age mates qualified as pastoralists, who know what to do with livestock, who can make a living out of livestock.